one, to write this in slope-intercept form, remember slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So if negative 3x plus y equals 4, you have to add 3x to get y equals positive 3x plus 4, which gives you the answer of B. For number 2, you have to write an equation in slope-intercept form that contains a point and has the slope of 4. So again, you're going to use your y equals mx plus b. You know m, you know x, you know y. So you're going to plug those into y equals mx plus b. So y was 5 equals m, which is 4, times x, which is 3 plus b. So you get 5 equals 12 plus b. Subtract 12. So 5 minus 12 is negative 7 equals b, which would be y equals positive 4x minus 7, which is d. For number 3, which of the following lines is perpendicular? Perpendicular means slopes are opposite, reciprocal. So I looked and I said I found some perfect ordered pairs. Here's a perfect ordered pair at 1, 1, and then I found another perfect ordered pair down here at 0, negative 3. So I went up 4 to the right 1. So the slope of this line is 4 over 1, positive 4 over 1, which then the perpendicular slope is going to be negative 1/4. So the only one that has a slope of negative 1/4 is C. Number 4. This time, again, all you're doing is you're looking at the slope of this line. The slope of this line is negative 2/7. So the slope of your perpendicular line equals positive 7 over 2, opposite and reciprocal. I don't care about anything else from that equation. And then I have the ordered pair 4, 6. So I have my x, my y, and my new m to plug into y equals mx plus b. So we have 6 equals 7 halves times 4 plus b. The 2 and the 4 can simplify, and you get 6 equals 14 plus b. Subtract 14, and you get 8 equals b. Negative 8 equals b. So your equation is y equals positive 7 over 2x minus 8. Number 5, the graph of f of x is shown below. It is translated up 3 units. You look at the y-intercept for that. So if this y-intercept was at 1, you went up 1, 2, 3 to a new y-intercept of 4. So I can eliminate A and C. So I know B equals 4. Now I need to find the slope. The only thing that happened was a translation, so the slope of the line is the same. So I looked, here's a perfect order pair, and here's a perfect order pair. I went down 2 over 1, so negative 2 over 1, which is just negative 2. So y equals negative 2x plus 4, which is D. Number 6, which equation has the same slope? We had to put them into slope-intercept form in order to do that. If you did it to A, you would subtract 15x, and you would get 5y equals negative 15x plus 10. Divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5, which is y equals negative 3x plus 2. But if you look up here, the slope is positive 3. If we look at C, if you subtract 4y, if you add 12x, at least you know that you're going to get a positive number, and you get 4y equals positive 12x plus 8. Divide by 4, and you get y equals 3x plus 2. That has a slope of 3. The answer is C. For number 7, it says f of x is 6x minus 1 and g of x is 2x minus 1, which describes the transformation from f of x to g of x. I think the easiest way is to graph this. So I'm going to first graph f of x. I'm going to start at negative 1, so let me just draw my coordinate plane. And you can draw coordinate planes on your scratch paper. It starts at negative 1. It has a slope of positive 6. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left one, and here we have, it's kind of a straight line, f of x, and label it so you know which one's which. G of x starts at -1, again. So we know there's no translation, but has a slope of 2. So it went up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. So G of x is here in blue, and you can see that it went clockwise. It was a clockwise rotation if you go from pink to blue. For number 8, which type of graph would best display the weight of a puppy during the first year of its life? Remember, change in time is a line graph. A double line graph would be if there were 2. A bar graph is categories, and a circle graph is parts of a whole. Make sure you remember all of those. Number 9, what is the median? Median is the middle. So for me, I wrote them all out. 18, 18, 22, 23, 27, 35, and 40. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is close to 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 1, 2, 3. Middle 1, 2, 3. So your median is 23. Number 9, which describes the likelihood. Ricardo picks a red card out of a standard deck of cards. A red card, there are half of them are red cards, which is 50%. Half are red, half are black. 50% is as likely as not. Impossible is 0%, less than 50%, and greater than 50%. Number 11, odds against mean lose compared to win. If it was odds of, it would be win to lose. This winning the Super Bowl for a certain team are 13 to 1. So that means they lost 13, they won 1, and they played a total of 13 losses plus 1 win of 14 games. What's the probability that they win? Probability to win would equal the wins over the total. So how many did they win? Well, they won 1. Out of how many total are there? 14. So 1 out of 14, which is B. What ordered pair is the solution? I took this and I solved it by elimination. So I multiplied the bottom equation by -3 to get rid of my x's, and I had positive 3x minus 2y equals 7, negative 3x minus 9y equals negative 15. So now I went ahead and I added them. So you get negative 11, I'm sorry, this ends up being a positive 15 because the negative turns negative. Negative 11y equals positive 22. Divide by negative 11, and you get y equals negative 2. Then I went and I substituted it back in, and I said x plus 3 times negative 2, and you can use either equation. I just used the bottom one because it was less numbers to multiply and divide by, equals negative 5. So I got x minus 6, positive 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, equals negative 5. Add 6 to both sides, and you get x equals 1, which is the ordered pair 1, negative 2, which is D. Number 13, Jeff has $10 in quarters. There's 70 coins in all, right? Which system can be used to find out how many quarters and how many dimes Jeff has? Remember, you have two totals. You have a total amount of money and a total amount of coin. So always want to equal those two totals. Well, if you have 70 coins in all, you have x plus y. If x equals the number of quarters, then y equals the number of dimes. The number of quarters plus the number of dimes equals 70. Then there's a total of $10. So it's 25 cents per quarter plus 10 cents per dime. Then I always write them out and then I look and A matches. How many solutions? Well, they only intersect once, so there's only one solution. For the classifications, let's go ahead and put them both into slope-intercept form or solve them both. Maybe let's solve this one by substitution. So I'm going to drag this and drop this, and I get y minus negative 2 times y minus 3 equals 5. So I'm going to distribute my -2, and I get y minus 2y plus 6 equals 5. Y minus 2y is -1y plus 6 equals 5. Subtract 6, subtract 6. -1y equals -1. Divide by -1, and you get y equals +1. Go ahead and substitute that in. X equals 1 minus 3, which equals -2. So you get the ordered pair -2, 1, which is one solution. Which, remember, independent is exactly 1. Inconsistent is none. None and 1, that doesn't work. At least 1 and 1, yep, that's it. Remember, dependent is infinitely many. If you look at page 407 in your book, this helps describe them if you forgot what those definitions meant. Which system of linear equations is graphed below? So for this one, I first eliminated B because I knew that this one was dashed, which means that it has to be either less than or greater than. And then I went and I looked and I said, well, let's just look at my solid line. My solid line has a y-intercept of -1. And then I found another ordered pair. This looks like a good one. So I knew that I went up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. So my slope was 4 over 1, which was just 4. So I knew for my solid line, it's y box 4x minus 1. So positive 4x minus 1. Oh, the only one I can get rid of is a because that's 4x plus 2. So then I thought to myself, well, let's pick an ordered pair that works for it. Let's try 0, 0 because this is the shaded. These are the solutions. And 0, 0 is in there. So I said, is 0, how does 0 relate to 4 times 0 minus 1? 0 relates to 0 minus 1. 0 is greater than, but since it's solid, it has to be greater than or equal to. And I looked, and D is the only one that has that. And then I could do it again for the other line and see which one worked. Number 17. When you're doing these, remember it's 4 times, 3 times. So the only negative exponents that change are the variables. The numbers stay the same. So you can get rid of C, you can get rid of D, and you know it's either A or B. So the answer is A because the Y moved up and the X moved down. Which expression below is equivalent to A squared times A cubed, be the fourth A squared? Remember, first you would distribute your exponent and get A squared, and when you raise a power to a power, you multiply A to the 6th, B to the 8th. Now, when you multiply, you add. Remember, you're never actually doing what the operation is to the exponent. It's always something different. I always think about it like it's the level down. So these have the same base, so I add them. You get A to the 8th, B to the 8th, which is B. Number 19, what's the area? Area equals length times width. So I would do 2x minus 1 times 2x plus 1 and distribute. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times 1 is plus 2x. Negative 1 times 2x is minus 2x. Negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. Positive 2x minus 2x becomes 0. So I get 4x squared minus 1, which is B. Number 19, we're multiplying, so we're doing double distribution. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times negative 3x is negative 12x. 4 times positive 5 is plus 20. Negative x times x squared is negative x cubed. Negative x times negative 3x is positive 3x squared. Negative x times positive 5 is negative 5x. So then I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. I'm going to make a little mark, so I'm going to start combining here. And I'm going to start with my highest exponent, negative x cubed. And then we have positive 4x squared plus 3x squared is positive 7x squared. Negative 12x minus 5x is negative 17x. And then plus 20, which gives you an answer of